Just as a way of introduction, my name is Chris Knepp. I'm a partner account manager at Progress Software. I've been in the industry now for roughly 20 years in the CMS world. Anybody remembers Actron back in the day? Maybe a few people. Started there and been with Progress now for 7 years. If you're not familiar with Progress, we're a publicly traded company, founded roughly about 40 years ago. Sitefinity is one of their flagship products, and it's a DXP. Enterprise level, we work with clients around the world, especially focusing on B2B. So the agenda today, really 4 areas we're going to focus on. The essentials, and the essentials that increase revenue. I'm going to talk about some of the gotchas you can look for with AI. And then we'll talk about a few next steps that every organization can take within there. So let's talk AI within here. So, just kind of a general overall idea, right? What society thinks it is, which is this melding of the human and the machine, right? What my mom thinks it is. When I talk to my mom about AI, she's like, isn't that Google? Within there. I've heard this a couple times today. What anti-AI people think it is. We see the Terminator up there. I've actually heard that a couple times in a couple presentations. Today, what companies think it is, just the ability to print money, the ability to make money, whether it's reducing head count, increasing revenues. This is what I look like when I use an AI prompt. I think I look pretty smart, but what it actually is. And I actually like this picture because it reduces it down to what AI really is, which is just a tool. It's a tool that we utilize, like we use a lot of other things, whether it is Sitefinity as a DXP, you might use HubSpot, Avalara, HawkSearch. It's just another tool in the toolbox that you guys can utilize within there. Let's talk a little about DXP. That image, I asked AI, give me an example of an evolution, and that's what it brought up for me. Within there. And I don't know if that's because one of my kids is really into Pokemon, so it just kind of realized some of that, and that's what it will look for. But if we really look at it, the evolution of sort of the market, which is the CMS. CMS, really, when we think about CMS, we think about editing and creating content, workflows, maybe some multilingual. CMS has evolved into a DXP, which has all of that information, but then you start to look at things like content personalization, A/B testing, integrations with third party, pulling in that data within your sites and your platforms. And then the next evolution, which is your DXP AI. Now we're going to talk a little bit about that today, but utilizing then all that other stuff, but adding the AI content within there. Let's talk hype versus reality. I don't think I want to go over all these today. I think we've talked a lot about some of these, but a couple of things I do like to look at. First is, and going with Scott Snowden's talk a little bit earlier today, when he was talking about the speed of business and how fast it's going. AI is doubling capabilities every 7 months. It almost feels overwhelming, and it's almost paralyzing on what we're doing. You don't want to make the wrong decision. If I implement something today, is it going to be replaced within 6 months, 3 months, a year? So we're seeing a lot of that. I like the companies investing report roughly a 3 to 15% revenue uplift and a 20% sales ROI. But despite all of this, and I apologize, I forget which. It was during the lunch session within there. 42% of AI projects fail. Despite all of this good stuff. And it fails to meet expectations, which is a huge issue within the industry. Because when we look at it, in 2025, there'll be roughly a $656 billion investment into AI with companies. Just kind of put that in perspective, ERPs, the global investment will be roughly about 115 billion, and CRM about 112 billion. So just kind of give you an idea of the investment that people are making within AI. But what this also means for everybody in this room is your competitors are investing in AI. If you're not investing in AI today, your competitors are. They're putting the money in. So let's talk about some of the foundations and the disruption. And this is a funny slide. Do I have a pointer on this thing? I don't think I do. So I'm going to come over here. Just out of curiosity, maybe raise a hand. How many people are using AI? Not ChatGPT, not Copilot, utilizing AI on their website, on their portal, utilizing something for client facing. Couple? All right, Scott, I appreciate you raising the hands. So really only a couple, right? So early AI, I would say early AI interest with risk of overhyping was probably about 2 years ago, right? When AI was really overhyped, everybody was talking about it. AI experimentation, mostly in data science context, I think is mostly where people are right now. Combined with some maybe AI in production, starting to get there. We're starting to see some clients on that side. The other stuff is way down the line right now. Most people are still thinking about AI and what to do with it. Where do we put it? How do we handle AI within the state? But the investment is absolutely huge that companies are putting in. So we're going to talk about basically 4 shifts in behavior: conversational search, content automation, intelligent search, and personalization at scale. I'll just sort of point this out. Sitefinity does all of these within there, but it doesn't mean you need to use Sitefinity for these. So there are other solutions out there that can handle these. Definitely always recommend talk to your partner, talk to your SI about what's right for you guys. Once again, we do all of these. It's part of our standard solution, but it doesn't always have to be within Sitefinity. So let's talk about AI-powered content and automation. ChatGPT is a good example, what we do on a day-to-day basis. I heard earlier today somebody talking about, I write emails so I don't sound so harsh, right? And you do that. Your DXP should have the ability to create content within your site on a page level within there. This is fantastic for content at a scalable level. When you're needing to create a bunch of content, outside of copy and pasting from Word, your revenue impact is faster time to market and revenue. Here's an example, just within Sitefinity. Hopefully everybody can see this. There's a lot that you can do within something of this nature. Always configurable within here, but you can see you can compose the text. You can create the tone of the text, metadata tags within here. These are just all examples, but the ability for the AI page and then to create the content for you. Obviously, the great thing about any DXP or web content management, of course, is that you can then modify that, create it within there. But this will get you most of the way there. Conversational AI. This is not search. This is chat within here. So utilizing, I don't even like the term chat bot anymore because I think it's more just general chat with your AI, from search to AI-driven conversations. Once again, we have all this. I'm gonna give you guys an example of one of our clients, DART, the Dallas Area Regional Transit. Anybody here from Dallas? Shooting a dark there, probably not. But so DART uses AI chat within there. You can see here, this is just an example. So there's a couple of options here that I really like. One is you can just start a chat with it, ask it a question within there. But they also have some prompts there as well. Typical things that people are going to ask. What might be, track my rides, schedules and maps, things like that. But what DART has already seen within their chat is roughly a 53% increase in activity on the site, which is really reduced cost overall for them. Intelligent search. This is really one of those other areas within AI that we can look at. Is really one of those powerful ones. Once again, Sitefinity does this out of the box, but there's also tools. I don't know if my friends from HawkSearch are here, but HawkSearch is also going to do search within here. We've talked a lot about that. I think this is we've seen some examples of that. I heard some stuff during the lunch session that I really thought like AI search would be a great benefit to them, as it's going to speed up, but it also allows for conversational search And then depending on what technology you use, such as if we decide to do something like Progress, what we call agentic RAG, it also can bring in documents, coalesce documents, and really make the search process much more accurate for the users, while at the same time utilizing the agents will also allow them to, for you to upsell, cross-sell within your clients, recommend different areas, but of course, ultimately, the idea here is to reduce frustration as well as reduce support within there. Personalization at scale. Anybody doing any type of personalization? I know a lot of folks here on the B2B side, so right there, Scott always within there. So the ability to personalize content within here. Tailor the experience. Now this is something that, once again, standard DXP can do, but we're talking about taking it to the next level. This is the DXP AI that we're looking at here. CDP, Customer Data Platform, whatever you might utilize on that side, pulling in data from there, pulling in data from your ERP, pulling in data from the website, things that person may have done on the website, pulling in data, quite frankly, if you're talking about public-facing websites, you can pull in data from really anywhere that person's done with search history. All this to then do hyper-personalization. I'm going to give you guys a little example of something that I see coming in the future within here, and this will go into the next bullet point. Imagine you taking all this data from all these different platforms that you've collected about this person. The person comes to your page or to your site, and the page is automatically built based on that personalization. So it's no longer, we're changing a banner, we're changing maybe, a little bit of content, but the entire page is built automatically, completely personalized to that person based on the information that we know about them. Hyper-personalization. I think we're probably a couple years away from this, but I see it absolutely as the future. I'm gonna give you guys one more, and this kind of goes into it, which is AI page creation. So this is the ability to create a page with a prompt, as an example here. So you can kind of see the example. Once again, you can see here, these are all completely configurable, quick start, you found registration. This could be a product page within there. This could be a customer portal page within there. Creating a page through a prompt. And then, once again, being able to then customize and manage that page, of course, within Sitefinity or if your solution allows it. But this is absolutely one of those things that your solution should be able to do. Any questions so far? No questions? Okay. Just kind of recap then. So you see the 4 areas here that we've talked about. I won't go to it, but you can see also some of the benefits of each one, whether it's higher engagement. It's all the stuff that you would expect, right? Higher engagement within there. Reduced cost, whether it's support costs, sales cost within there, just a better customer experience. All these things allow you guys to do that within there. A few AI gotchas. We've talked about some of these. I think Scott mentioned a couple of them, especially hallucinations. If you're not familiar with hallucinations, it's basically the AI making something up, because that's what it will do from time to time. There are ways to mitigate this, of course. You can use different AI tools out there that will mitigate some of this on there. Bias, keep in mind that AI is ultimately created by humans. So there can be, and sometimes will be, bias that are associated with that. Same with data security problems and safety risks. Once again, somebody mentioned it today at lunch. Always something you have to be very careful of, especially if you're using something, say, outside the company like ChatGPT. You're uploading a PowerPoint. It's taking that data and it's learning from it. So now you've put company data out there where you want to be very, very careful with that. Make sure you're following company policies. But these are some of the things you definitely want to be concerned with. And while still a human touch is always important within there. So once again, just kind of, within here, some, case for the smarter DXPs, smarter self-service and guided selling me through that, whether it's through chat. I'll give you guys an example. One of our clients utilizing the chat is a golf course. This is a little bit more of a B2C scenario, but you go to their website and you go to their chat and you can find, you say, I want to book a tee time. It looks at the scheduling, finds out what times are available, you book your tee time, and then it tries to upsell you. Do you need a cart? Do you need golf clubs? You say, yeah, I need a cart. Would you like beer service on holes 3, 9, and 12 at these times? And it kind of walks you through that entire process, upselling, cross-selling, managing the process for you, and at the end, you can buy through the system. You can see optimized customer journeys, operational efficiency, and cost savings, which are huge, especially with search and the chat, and then the smarter personalization, which we really will find is much higher conversions. So next steps for organizations. I think there's one thing that we recommend: pilot one. Build a use case, work with your SI. Scott talked about a little bit earlier within there through the strategy, but choose one. There are probably the easiest one to do is if your web content management solution does it, which would be just the content creation aspect. Find out how fast you can start to create content within the site, pulling in content. The one that I would probably recommend would probably be either search or chat. There are proven ROIs with either one of those within there. Reduced service calls, reduced the ability for people to find content faster, faster engagement. Those are probably the couple that I would recommend, either one of those. But once again, as Scott mentioned earlier, you want to put a strategy around it. You just don't want to say, okay, we're going to throw up a chat agent and see what happens. And then measure the ROI and business outcomes, which will then allow you to scale that and move on to maybe one of the other ones. And then just scale that adoption across the channel and teams, as many of you have really entities across not just the US, but across the world that allow you to scale this. So just with a couple of final thoughts here that I would have, really utilizing AI is meant to drive revenue in a B2B scenario. If it's not driving revenue or saving costs, then why do it? But ultimately, there needs to be a plan around it. See my contact information over there. If anybody is interested and or would like to go, we do have an event in Denver for Sitefinity. Znode's going to be there as well. Love to see you guys there. That code right there, because you came to the conference, will allow you into the event for free. It is October 7th through the 9th. Within there, we'll send you the information. But yeah, any questions that I can answer for anybody? Nothing? I know we've talked a lot about AI over the last few days. No questions? There's got to be one. No? All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for your time. Appreciate it, and have a great day.